You saw the Beta Hypermax video, you saw the Hypermax explainer, you saw the Beta Vasomax flavor video, and now you're going to see the Vasomax breakdown. Today we're talking about Performax Labs' new Vasomax, the pump equivalent to the Hypermax. Now both of these contain 3D pump breakthrough, which is really exciting because that way you're getting a lot of citrulline, glycerol, and amla fruit extract. But there are a lot of other ingredients here that we're going to be talking about today. Get ready to talk about all things pump related. Well, I don't know if it's all the things that are in the pump relation category, but all of the things in here are definitely going to lend to pump. Off the top, we got 3D pump breakthrough. Now I've talked about this a lot recently. Performax was definitely the first company that we got to talk about bringing this to market with the Hypermax. So obviously I tried out the beta samples for Vasomax. That's why these are still sealed. And 3D pump breakthrough being in it also helped again. And you guys know it's got citrulline, it's got glycerol, and it's got that amla fruit extract. The first two you're already familiar with, and they definitely help out. They're fan favorites for a lot of reasons. That amla fruit extract helps out with that vasodilation, that Indian gooseberry, love that name, obviously does not have a lot of athletic data on it outside of the pilot study for this, but mechanism of action wise, it makes sense why it would help with vasodilation. We like the inclusion of it. It helps with the product's efficacy, and obviously they are touting that improved stability outside of your normal stabilized glycerol. So let's not spend too much time on 3D pump breakthrough. If you want to learn all about it, I did do a very deep dive on the Hypermax video where I went into the pilot study, talked about what it did, what they saw from it. We definitely can see why Performax is loving the ingredient, why they threw it in a second product. But for this Vasomax video, because we already went so in deep on 3D pump on the first Hypermax, I'm gonna kind of truck on through and get through some other ingredients on here that we haven't talked about, and so make the best of this content time. So after that, we get into a favorite ingredient of mine, taurine. Taurine has a ton of different benefits for athletic purposes, and at 2 grams here, it's definitely a whopping dose. If you guys remember, we used to see 500 milligrams, 750 milligrams. When we started seeing a gram, I got really excited because there's a huge meta-analysis that brings together all the athletic benefits, and it really starts at a gram. But for me, I like it at that 2 to 3 gram mark. So seeing them put 2 grams of it in here is awesome. It's not a super expensive ingredient, but going above and beyond on these ingredient dosages obviously adds cost to the product. So good on Hypermax for choosing the higher road with those higher dosages. This is going to help out with all things from hydration to performance to, I even believe there is a small cognitive boost with taurine. Lots of awesome stuff with the ingredient, and we're super glad to see it in here. Obviously, with that hydration, that helps out with pump. That's why we have glycerol in here. You have to be hydrated to achieve a pump. It also helps out with the performance, obviously, because well-hydrated bodies are going to perform better. So loving everything about it. After that, we get into a personal favorite of mine when it comes to pump, Nitrozine. One of the things we love about 3D Pump Breakthrough is that it's able to be paired with a lot of different pump ingredients. Not all pump ingredient companies play well together, and for that reason, when we start to see these being paired together, we like that kind of collaboration. So 3D Pump Breakthrough can be included here with Nitrozine and another pump ingredient we're going to get to further on. Nitrozine is obviously the arginine silicate that we are always excited about from Nutrition 21. In 2019, the University of Arkansas did a study comparing it to 8 grams of citrulline malate, being 6 grams of pure citrulline, and explained that with just 1.5 grams of Nitrozine, they matched the pump with 8 grams of citrulline malate. Now, a lot of people will say that makes it stronger than citrulline. I don't always make that claim because they're obviously saying, like, strength per gram there, but obviously you're using a lot of less powder to get the same result. So in this, we now have a whole 3 grams of citrulline in that 3D Pump Breakthrough alongside another 1.5 grams of Nitrozine. You're going to be hitting pump from a few different angles here, and we're absolutely loving it. We also have estrogen in here at the bottom, and I want to note one of the things that we originally did not like about arginine was the bioavailability of it. The silicate portion of Nitrozine helps with that absorption and makes it much more viable, but it's always nice to see estrogen at the bottom helping out with overall absorption again. If there is anything left over from the problem of absorption with arginine silicate, which I don't expect, I do expect estrogen here to pull it up in the rear and help out with that. So moving forward into Vaso 6, obviously the second ingredient here that is not always used with other pump ingredients, Vaso 6 and Nitrozine alongside 3D Pump is honestly inspiring to see. We see a lot of trademarked ingredients usually used on their own, but here we've got 3 of them right in a row. So Vaso 6 is a green tea leaf extract. It consists of 6 different extracts from green tea, actually. And before 3D Pump, it was the newcomer on the block when it comes to pump ingredients. Now, obviously, this ingredient is championed by the Matt Nickerson. He has been able to accrue quite a social media following for both the ingredient and the patented whistle that goes alongside it. One of the things I love about the ingredient is just the cult following online. It's cool to see so many consumers transcending the brick and mortar, sales and all of the marketing, all of that, and just creating a community of people that love an ingredient. There are tons and tons of different benefits and health benefits from this ingredient that we're going to be seeing over the next couple of years with data that's coming out. But for right now, we see Vaso 6 as a very competent pump ingredient, which instead of increasing nitric oxide levels by boosting L-arginine, it actually interacts with nitric oxide synthase. So because of this, Vaso 6 actually has a different pathway than citrulline, than nitrozine, creating another prong of this approach towards increasing pump. Now, I like to use the word synergy here. Obviously, it's not like a direct synergy. These don't work in turn together, but when you're boosting nitric oxide by a few different pathways, I think synergy is kind of the word to be using here. You have a few different pathways where you're all driving the same pump ending result. And that's not the only benefit we're getting here. In addition to increasing blood flow, it also increases glucose uptake into skeletal muscle. It also promotes muscle protein synthesis. Lastly, green tea is high in epicatechin, a very popular muscle builder. And at 300 milligrams, it's a pretty nice dosage. There are people online talking about 900 milligram dosages, and we always do love that, mega dose lifestyle. But when you have that 3D pump breakthrough, the nitrozine, the other things going on here, I don't think you need to go as high. Although I wouldn't fault you if you went and purchased some Vaso 6 capsules and added them in as well. So after that, we've got our pink Himalayan sea salt. Now at 250 milligrams, this is delivering 100 milligrams of pure sodium. Sodium is one of those things that is absolutely necessary for training. It hydrates the body. It helps with, it's necessary for muscle contractions. It just doesn't even help with it. Sodium is one of those things that a lot of the benefits that we talk about are really just in the absence of deficiency. So many athletes do not get enough sodium, and that leads to dehydration. It leads to shitty performance. And it's just one of those things where I think you need to make sure that around your day you're getting sodium in. I know it's very popular right now. A lot of different influencers are pushing pre-workout sodium, and I like seeing it in pre-workouts. Absolutely, I'm not against it. But I always like to remind people that if you are waiting till pre-workout to get your sodium in, you're already too late. Make sure you're salting your meals. Make sure you're getting your mineral intake in around the day. Make sure you are consuming water alongside it to hydrate the muscle, and you will definitely see better pumps. I often joke that people who complain about all these specific dosages in pre-workout can't even get a pump just using carbohydrates and sodium and water. This is an awesome perspective on actually starting to push sodium to the consumer so that they can understand, oh, it does work, it is fine to consume, and as a heavy lifter, you probably should be adding a little bit more to your diet. Now we're rounding out in the last few ingredients here. We've got L-glutathione. Now, glutathione is a major player when it comes to stress defense, nutrient metabolism, cellular functioning. It also contributes antioxidant benefits as well, combating oxidative stress, which can cause more vasodilation. We like seeing it in this formula here. There are a lot of issues with glutathione and bioavailability. We've got a pretty nice dosage of it at 200 milligrams here. I'm not looking for a huge change here. There are some ways to make this possibly more powerful. Injectable glutathione is really popular. NAC causes endogenous production of glutathione, but with that, we're currently seeing people be kind of afraid of using NAC because of a recent warning letter against NAC. It also tastes horrible, and Vasomax is a great tasting product, so I can see why they wouldn't want to put it in there. We can talk around like what they could have done better with the glutathione, but I think at the end of the day, they have so many powerful ingredients in here that they probably realize that adding glutathione, even if you aren't absorbing all of it, you are getting a benefit out of it without adding a risk of bad flavoring and possibly issues with the FDA later on. Although I do break that down in a few videos why I'm not concerned about that with NAC. Glutathione, while not being the most powerful ingredient, I'm not going to hate on it right now because it's an addition onto an already really efficacious formula. If this was a weaker formula and I saw multiple areas where they could have gone further, I'd definitely be complaining. In this case, we like Performax, we like their formulas, and this one while there may have been more powerful ingredients to add in here, it's not a detriment to the formula because it's already going to be flying high in terms of blood flow. Having used this a few times, having added it to Performax's Hypermax, I've had awesome results from it. And maybe this leads up for a V2 of this where they change around that when supply chain is a little bit easier. Not totally sure on the backstory here, but we would note here maybe like a Cetria, maybe an NAC, maybe something else to help out with the pathway of oxidative stress leading to vasodilation. S7 here honestly is one of those ingredients that I don't always give a pass to though. Futureceuticals is a company that offers a wide variety of different herbal extracts that have different purposes in sports, and this is one of those ingredients that I love using but just wish that there was better data on it. Completely conversely to glutathione, where I don't really know what they're going with it. S7 is one of those ingredients that I loved when I got to beta sample it before it came out. I loved using it after it came out. And then once I looked at the data, I was like, why did you do it this way? S7 is an ingredient that I think can be added to a lot of different pump products. It's a 50 milligram dosage. It is not expensive at all to add. It barely increases the cost of the product, but it just is this black eye on it, the data that was produced for it by Futureceuticals. In any case, 50 milligrams of it, I've used higher dosages of it, but 50 milligrams adds a lot to a pump product, and I always enjoy using it. So it's one of those ingredients that I just like, I love it. I will always talk nicely about the usage of it, but Futureceuticals, please give us some better data to talk about it with. I'm calling back a few years, but the study was done on elderly folk. They're not trained individuals, obviously, and it came out with these wild nitric oxide boosting numbers, like 230% increases. If they had done it in healthy individuals, young individuals that were trained, and they even had like a 50% boost, I would enjoy that number much more because it's at least backed by good science. In any case, S7 definitely works. Again, just like the glutathione thing, using the product, it drives crazy blood flow. I have veins coming out and I'm not a veiny person. My arms pump up. I don't have big arms, and I absolutely love using the product. So yeah, the first half of this formula is new, exciting ingredients. The second half, maybe not as exciting, but the product delivers. So in any case, I'm kind of ranting here. I don't want to get too ranting because I do love the product, but S7 was one where when I see that name, it just calls me back to Futureceuticals, and it's like, I love the ingredients so much, guys. Just give us some better data to talk about. And lastly, Astrogen from New Live. Huge fans of what New Live does. They created this product, Astrogen, that, yes, it has got data on a lot of different ingredients, and some of the ingredients in here, it definitely helps out with taurine, arginine, but one of my favorite claims from the ingredient is the lowering of gut inflammation, because it kind of creates a blanket claim for so many different ingredients. With stuff like bioperin, we can't always say, oh, it helps out these specific ingredients. But with an ingredient like Astrogen, because it lowers overall inflammation in the gut and long intestine, you can definitely see why it would increase absorption of, if not just food, but a lot of supplements, because in America, we have so much inflammation in the gut. So like I said, any ingredient here that maybe has a problem being absorbed, traditionally we don't like arginine, but even with the arginine silicate, if there's any little bit of boosting it can offer there, it's another reason why this boosts pump so much more. We're giving great ingredients, and then we're even boosting the absorption on it even further. And that's it. We've got a 13.5 gram serving here, and out of the 7 ingredients, there's really only one ingredient here where I probably could offer some criticism to, and still at the end of the day, we know that glutathione works for oxidative stress, for increasing vasodilation. Maybe we just look for something that would boost it a little bit more, and tell Performax, we promise we wouldn't mind the hit to the flavor. As always, guys, I hope this was helpful and educational. I try to inform people on the actual ingredients and not just the anecdotal feelings, but sometimes I gotta offer it. Hey, I know what the data says, but this pump that I get from this product is insane. Always excited to see Performax coming out with new stuff. We have a few more drops coming. I won't give them away just yet, but we always know that you guys enjoy the Performax drops. So definitely subscribe for those videos. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I do have to say, I got the products for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with Performax, and yeah, maybe that makes us a little bit biased, but I think that I've been pretty transparent here about the ingredients that we love, the ingredients that we don't love so much, and the end result with the product. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.